Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Let me just show you the palaver that I have to go through just to empty the waste tank on my motorhome. As you can see, the pipework, it's really a bit Mickey Mouse. It's up and over the chassis, it comes out here. I have to fiddle about lowering it, making sure the water's coming out properly, and it's just a real pain. So in today's video, my little project is to fit a fully automatic emptying system that will work without me having to leave the driver's seat. So let's crack on and do it. As with all motorhomes and campers, the hot and cold water doesn't just empty out down the sink and into a drain. It runs along underneath the body and actually goes into a waste holding tank, and then from the bottom of that tank it then empties out by various means. And in my case it's a hose with a valve on it that I have to lower down and fiddle about to get the water out. The actual bottom of the tank is where there's a 25mm spigot, and if I undo it I can take this off completely and it will give me access to the lowest point of the tank. Now I'm not going to be reusing this flexible hose, that can go. Instead I'm going to be fitting one of these 12-volt zone valves directly onto the spigot that comes out of the tank. Now I'm going to need a switch to control the motorised valve. I'm putting it on a panel that's directly behind the seat. That way I can just reach behind and switch it on and off as need be. I've run a cable right down through the motorhome, along the chassis and to the position where the waste tank and the valve is. And what I've done, that wire runs from this fuse panel where the live feed runs along through round the back of the batteries to the back of the switch hole, then make the connections, connect the switch, and the other side of the switch runs down to the valve, and then finally from the valve it comes all the way back and connects to the negative side of the fuse panel. Before I install the valve on the end of the waste tank, I want to test it. I've brought the other end of the cable back in and through the window. I've put on some temporary connections here, and I'm going to just put the fuse in and make sure it's working properly. I've also changed out this switch. That old one was not man enough and just was giving me problems, so I've changed it out to a basic heavier duty on-off switch. If I zoom in on the valve itself, I'll throw the switch, you can hear the motor whirling away and the valve is now fully open, so I've got a full bore of water from the tank. And when you turn it off it kills the power, and what happens is the valve spring returns back to the closed position, so it doesn't use any power. It's not powered closed, it's only powered open. So now all I've got to do is work out how to actually fit it to the tank itself. I've bought this it's a 1" to 25 elbow. It's the sort of thing you use for a pond fitting to go on here, so that I can mount the valve, and it's going to be around about here somewhere, and I can use the hose that come off, a short bit of hose, connect it to this, connect it to the tank, and it will hold it. And then I've got the water coming out here. I've just got to work out a way of actually supporting it. So this is the other end of the cable. I've clipped it all the way along the chassis. This is the last little bit that runs to the spigot where the valve's going to be. I haven't clipped this because what I want to do is I want to actually solder it to the valve to give more of a mechanical fixing, and then what I'll do, I'll put a heat shrink over it and so it's fully waterproof. And then after the heat shrink, I've just wrapped it in a bit of insulating tape as well, sort of belt and braces. Doesn't look particularly pretty, I must admit, but it'll stop any moisture getting into the two soldered joints. There we are. Then I can fit it and re-clip it. So back underneath now, and I'm going to put a little bit of sealant on this spigot just to stop any drips getting through or anything like that. I'll put a Jubilee clip on the other end of this flexible pipe, so that should slide on there nicely. So that's the valve in position. I've got to make a bracket up to support it, stop it from flopping about, and clip the wires back neatly. So that's the installation done now. I've temporarily supported the valve with a cable tie, and all I need to do is run the sink, fill up the waste tank and test it out. So I'll put the fuse in and liven the circuit up, jump in the driver's seat. To empty the waste tank now, I don't need to leave the driver's seat. I can back over a waste grid and reach behind me, get to the switch, flick it on, the valve opens and all the wastewater comes out. And then when I want to close it, I simply reach behind, throw the switch, and I know the valve's closed, it's sealed, and I can just drive off. And there you go folks, a complete success. A simple little project, only took me a weekend, but it solved a problem that was kind of aggravating me. So for now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.